What's going on, everyone watching and listening? I always get an honor and pleasure to talk to some of my favorite artists and some of yours. And today, as you can see with me, I got the one and only Lecrae. How you feeling, bro?
Man, all is well, brother. I can't complain. I'm grateful to be here.
Man, the final church close tour is hitting here in Columbus May 6th at the Nash Church. Bro, I was looking because you know how they say time flies, but you've been on these church clothes for about 10 years now. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what has that, when you get in your church clothes mode, how has that spoken to the different seasons in your life through this journey?
Church clothes for me is always about being authentic and
Yeah.
kind of being who God has called me to be. I think everybody has a role they have to play and in the kingdom. And for me, it's like, all right, this is my role. I show off my scars so other people can believe that their wounds can heal.
Mm,
And man, it's just like it's go time. You got mellow hoodie. Hoodie mellow. It's church
right.
clothes. Craig. I get in the zone, man.
No, that's huge. And I think what you talk about as far as being transparent and being genuine has been something that you've been definitely true to throughout your entire career, which is on grown man status, if you're just going by discography. But so with you, carrying your platform, carrying what you have been for so long, like, do you see yourself mentoring not only up and coming artists but other young souls seeking the kingdom?
Absolutely, man. As a matter of fact, that's kind of the season that I've been in. I feel like I'm in my legacy season. It's when you
Wow.
see LeBron on the court. Yeah, he's still playing ball, but he's also acting like a GM and making sure the right people get over there, acting like a coach, making sure the plays are crafted right, and encouraging his young players to be, to move according to their potential. And so that's a big part of my role. Not only am I an artist, I'm a label exec at Reach Records. So I'm making sure that everybody on the
Mhm.
staff and the artists are getting their stuff out. But not only that, I'm a figurehead in the space for a lot of these young artists. And I'm always trying to do features or give advice or, just talk to them and encourage them and just cheer them on.
No, that's huge. Just watching the Lakers game not too long ago, and the reporter asked LeBron about the young players around him and how they don't want to disappoint him, and how he felt like how he needed to carry that. And he said he was at a point in his career where he just wants everyone around him to be encouraged, to have confidence, and he'll worry about the X's and O's because he can do that and play at the same time. So that's kind of like what I hear you saying too. Like you've been in it for a minute, so this some stuff is just routine to you, but you have a responsibility to give back to who's
That's
around you
exactly
too.
it. You nailed it. Or actually, LeBron nailed it. But yes, same thing.
No, for sure. And because I even remember like hearing you tell stories about when you first met Kirk. Like you wasn't, I guess, quote unquote, all the way put together, and he saw you at a show, and that kind of
Right.
like helped change the trajectory on the path that you were going, even though you were doing things in a positive way. So, can you share a little bit of how that story has helped you and how you see yourself playing that role too?
Kirk was he's probably the best example that I have of somebody who has just been a trailblazer, and giving me advice on how to blaze the trail that I'm on. And now it's when we first started off, Kirk saw our potential. He always encouraged us. He always supported me. He was always available. And this is before I was, anybody knew me outside of, of Dallas,
Yeah.
I mean, Houston and Dallas, like no one knew who I was. And he was just so supportive, and he pulled me to the side or, let me come backstage. And he said, man, keep the fire, don't let anybody put that fire out.
Mm.
And now the ironic part is I was just with Kirk last night, at his
Wow.
studio. And And I'm in a position where it's like, yeah, he's still big bro, but I'm also able to give him advice. I'm also able to say, hey, Kurt, here's some of the stuff that I'm thinking through that I see within you that I want to see you continue in. And now we have that type of relationship and that type of dynamic like brothers, but we're two grown men. And yeah, he's some steps ahead of me, but he also highly respects me. And so he'll ask me, he asked me about his bars on the BET cipher. He asked me all kinds of little stuff like that. And
Wow.
but we just have that kind of relationship where, man, he was an influencer in my life, and now he's opened up his life to be able to, when you invest in somebody, they grow, and you can, like any father will be able to get advice from his son as the son becomes a grown man.
Man, ain't that's just wild how that works out, especially when you talk about someone of a status of a Kirk Franklin who how what they've done and their accolades, and then they turn around and ask you like, hey, what do you think? It's like, well have I arrived now too? Or like,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
And I want to be that for a lot of artists. I never want to take myself that seriously. Kirk he doesn't take himself as serious. It was, even being in the studio and he was showing me the piano that he wrote Silver and Gold on, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, you wrote some iconic music on this little piano, but he's not seeing himself in that light. He's in the present and trying to figure out how to be impactful today. And I want to be the same way. I want to be like, I don't want to live in my past and say, look at everything that I did. I want to be able to say, man, how am I still contributing to what's happening today?
Man, and so part of that you mentioned earlier of you being the label executive, record executive. So who are some of the artists, whether they be artists that you directly work with or just artists you see from a distance, that we should be looking out for coming up on this Christian hip hop scene?
Oh man, I mean, right off the bat, my guy Hovey is on fire.
Man.
He's on fire, and it's been a blessing, man. I remember him just being a 19-year-old kid and just being able to sit in the studio with him and hear some of the stuff he was cooking up, and to now, I mean, he is just like lighting it up. His song Altar is going crazy, beautiful. I mean, it's to the point to where some of my top streaming records on my profile are songs I collaborated on with him.
Wow.
And so, of course, my guy, What Up RG, 1K Few, Wande, she's blown up, so there's just a lot of incredible talent out there that is just on the rise. And then of course there's artists that are not, they're not signed to me, but they're still like my little brothers and sisters, Portia Love or No Big Deal, just individuals that I just, love to share insight and wisdom with as often as I can.
No, that's huge, because it's just, as a fan of Christian hip hop music, I get to see, I hate calling it a struggle, but still the overall non-acceptance of it on a mainstream platform. And I don't know what the answer is to make that shift happen, because even being on a station like Joy, we're a traditional gospel station.
Right.
But I was fortunate enough to have the freedom when I came on 3 years ago. I was like, oh no, I appreciate the praise and worship. I appreciate the foot stomping, hand clapping.
Yeah.
But we have a whole generation out there that can't always relate to this,
for sure,
especially in a modern world. So we got to bring something fresh. So I been able to implement some songs here and there in rotation, and then I get to go all the way in on a mix I do every day. So and I just think it's so important, especially connecting with youth and what you do and just who you are. I think that's just naturally who you connect with. So what are some of the misconceptions of the youth when it comes to being in church or having a relationship with God?
Well, I've been privileged to be around so long that the kids I started off with who were fans are now young adults. You know what I mean? And I've been the soundtrack to their lives. And so a lot of people, we were just talking about Kirk, a lot of people felt like, man, what is he doing? And what is this? But now in hindsight 2020, we see like he's been the soundtrack to people's lives. Dang. And so what I think we have to understand is that, you know, the youth are young people are like David. And King Saul tried to put that armor on David. And David said, I want to go kill Goliath, but this does not fit. But if you let me do it my way, I promise thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I promise Goliath will fall. I need a slingshot and some smooth stones, not an armor, you know, the armor that you have. It doesn't fit me. And I think what we have to do is we have to listen to these young people because they're not saying they don't want to do the things of God. They're saying that the message is going to stay the same, but the method may look different. And we got to trust in the method as long as the message stays the same.
Bruh, I should have anticipated it, and I should always be ready, but I didn't know you was about to open up Bible because I'll tell you that is the what. Because being a preacher and teacher myself, like you see how real the word is in life. Like even so when it comes to youth, like you go back to Moses and it was like Moses, you can only lead us so far, but Joshua is going to have to take us over the promise.
That's like, right.
That's right. And so when we have these young people, like the young people coming up does not discredit the work that was done before them, because without the work before them, we don't even get to see a promise, let alone walk into it.
We stand on their shoulders. We stand on their shoulders. I mean, you got to think the father of gospel, Thomas Dorsey, was playing blues music, but adding the message of the Lord to it. And they did not receive him.
Man.
And now he's seen as the father of gospel, the work that he put in he never could have imagined there would be a Lecrae. He never could have imagined there'd be a Yolanda Adams or a Doe or Jonathan McReynolds. He never could have imagined it. But I stand on his shoulders, and guess what I'm doing? The same thing he did. Taking the music of the culture and adding the truth of the Lord into it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just following in the footsteps of Thomas Dorsey and trying to take it beyond, you know, where he ever would have imagined.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing I respect about you, like this is our first time meeting, first time talking, but of course, you know, being, you know, a fan and a listener, just following you throughout, you know, your career. And I like the one thing I see from you is like you never compromise. You know, we've got all these, you know, the Hollywood and Holly Weird and other artists, you know, even of gospel music that compromise certain things about them. But like I've never seen you stray. Not only that, but then you stay consistent. So what has like is that a focus of yours, or does that just like naturally happen?
I think that somewhere along the line, a lot of us believe that we can get to a point where we stop growing. You know, growing in your craft, growing in your mindset, like the Bible says, renew your mind. It didn't say renew your mind until you're 40 or 30 or 80. It said renew your mind. So that's until I die. I need to be having my mind renewed. And so I have to stay growing. You know, every one of us has to continue to challenge ourselves to grow, because if not, you get stagnant. And when you're stagnant, you're ineffective. And then you get bored. And then when you get bored, if the devil can't make you, bad, he'll make you busy, but he'll make you busy doing something you ain't got no business doing. So I say want to be consumed with growing in my craft, growing as a leader, growing as a person who loves the Lord. And man, I want to do that until I die. And so that's kind of the way I zero in. Now, I will be honest, there was a season of my life where I did not, it was a competition and I got to stay ahead of everybody, Yeah. But now I realize we're all on the same team. And so it's my job to help everybody else grow and represent the team, represent the king.
No, that's good. And I don't want to get too far off. What the focus is the final church close tour.
That's right. That's right.
Coming May 6th at the Nash Church. You are not unfamiliar with Columbus, with Grove City. You are here frequently. So that's right. But if someone is coming to see you for the first time, what should they expect from a Lecrae concert?
Let me tell you something. It's like going to a sporting event. It's something for everybody, every age range, every demographic, every ethnicity. There's something for everybody. And so you're going to catch some high energy. You're going to catch the lights, camera, action, and the fireworks. But you're also going to catch some reflective and worshipful moments as well. And so it's going to be an opportunity for you to go on a journey with me, because I'm not just going to say, hey, I know you never heard of me, but jump right in. It's going to be an opportunity for you to learn and to come on a journey and walk away feeling like, man, I know this person, I know this music, and this is music that is going to connect with me for the rest of my life. So it's an experience, man. I think, there's not a 5-year-old or a 55-year-old that will not enjoy themselves at this event.
No, that's huge. And I love just how smart you are in also not doing this by yourself. So you have Elevation Worship and Stowe coming along with you too. Right. So like what can we get from them?
With Stowe, you have one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. The girl that can sing the house down. Yeah. I mean, her songs, I love When I Pray. It's been a life-changing song for me, and then Elevation. I mean, what can you say about Elevation? I mean, you're gonna worship, you're gonna party, it's gonna be like heaven that came down to earth. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be a time. And so, it's a big celebration, but it's also a healing moment as well. So you're gonna get some healing, you're gonna get some celebration. It is going to be, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you take your Sunday worship experience and then you multiply it times 10, and then you blend it in with different people from around the country, and it's gumbo. That's what it is.
For sure. It definitely puts a new definition to praise party.
That's right. That's right.
For sure. Man, no, that's huge. So before I let you go, anything else that you want to share or touch on or send a message to anybody watching or listening?
I just want to say thank you to the whole city of Columbus, man. I appreciate y'all have supported me for years. I love y'all to death. I always got to show love and support. Last time there was a new food court when I was out there last time. And man, so many good flavors up in that thing, man. I can't wait to get back up in there. Sure. So you probably see me in there if you're in town early that day. I'll be in that food court. Yeah. But food hall, whatnot. But man, I just appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the love, and I look forward to seeing